Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to dive into today's topic with you all. We're going to look at exactly how you can legally maintain your unemployment benefits while working in the great state of Tennessee. Now, I know this is a subject that comes with a ton of questions and, yeah, a lot of rules, but ultimately it offers a lot of opportunity if you just understand how the system actually works. Because let's face it, navigating unemployment can be daunting, especially when it comes to accurately reporting work and earnings. Stay tuned to learn everything you need to know to maintain your benefits while working part-time in Tennessee. Really, this whole thing is about personal integrity, staying legally compliant, and making absolutely sure you're maximizing the support that's available to you.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is a quick roadmap of what we're covering. We've got a Tennessee unemployment benefits overview, the weekly reporting process, calculating your partial earnings, gig work and special cases, and finally, seamless reporting and FAQs. Let's get to it.
All right, Section 1, Tennessee Unemployment Benefits Overview, Understanding the Basics. Before we even touch on reporting partial earnings, we just need to quickly lay down the foundational rules of Tennessee's unemployment landscape. How you even qualify in the first place.
So, $325. That is a very important number. It's the maximum weekly benefit amount that eligible claimants can receive in Tennessee. Now, depending on the state's average unemployment rate, if you qualify, you can receive these benefits for up to 12 weeks, specifically if the state's average unemployment rate is at or below 5.5%, or potentially up to 26 weeks under standard durations. But the catch is, to get any of that, you absolutely have to meet some strict past earnings thresholds.
And that brings us right to the base period. So the state essentially looks at the first 4 of the last 5 completed calendar quarters right before you filed your claim. To qualify, you got to have earned at least $780.01 in 2 different quarters during that specific time frame. Plus, and this is absolutely fundamental, you must have lost your previous job through no fault of your own. Meaning, you were laid off, maybe the business closed its doors, or your position was completely abolished. Moving right along to Section 2, the weekly reporting process, how and when to certify. Once your initial claim is filed, you've got these mandatory weekly tasks to keep those benefits active. And let me tell you, timing here is absolutely everything.
There are 3 completely crucial steps you got to hit. First, you log into the jobs4tn.gov portal, or you can use the state's automated phone system. Now, the calendar week runs strictly from Sunday to Saturday. The absolute best time to certify is that immediate Sunday. Just get it done to meet your deadlines and avoid any weird delays. Second step, you got to report all gross earnings for any work you did that specific week. And third, you have to log your required job searches.
Speaking of job searches, Tennessee actually requires you to perform and document at least 3 verifiable job search activities every single week. What counts? Well, acceptable activities include applying for jobs online or in person, submitting your resume, attending job fairs, completing skills assessments, or just directly contacting hiring managers. Just remember, at least 3 of these have to be documented in Jobs4TN every single week to keep you compliant.
Okay, Section 3. Calculating your partial earnings. The math behind the benefits. Now, I know a lot of people panic, thinking that earning literally any money at a part-time job will just instantly wipe out their entire unemployment claim. I'm here to tell you that's just not true. In fact, the math actually encourages you to work a bit.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the concept of the earnings disregard. It's basically a built-in allowance that lets you work part-time without completely losing all your support. The state literally ignores a portion of your earnings before they even touch your weekly benefits. In Tennessee, this disregard is calculated as the greater of either $50 or 25% of your total weekly benefit amount.
Let's actually walk through exactly how this works step by step. Step 1. You take your gross earnings for the week and subtract that disregard we just talked about. Whatever's left, that is your countable earnings. Step 2. Take your standard weekly benefit amount and subtract those countable earnings. That final number, rounded down to the lower dollar, is your partial payment for the week. See? It's a super seamless way to ease yourself back into the workforce.
So the crucial point is this strict boundary condition right here. If your weekly gross earnings ever equal or exceed your calculated weekly benefit amount, your payout drops to 0 for that week, regardless of the disregard formula. Basically, your benefits are just suspended for that specific week because you've officially crossed that maximum earnings threshold.
All right, shifting gears to Section 4, gig work and special cases, freelance, platforms, and severance. Look,
The modern economy is just packed with non-traditional employment, so it is completely vital to know how freelance work, gig platforms, and post-employment compensation fit into the state's reporting system.
Some common types of reportable 1099 work you might be doing include ride-sharing, freelance contracting, online selling, and platform gigs like Indeed Flex. Listen, all of these forms of self-employment and independent contracting absolutely must be actively reported on your weekly certification. Just because you aren't getting a traditional W-2 paycheck does not mean it goes unreported. You still got to log it.
And guys, this is perhaps the biggest pitfall for gig workers. When you certify, you must report your active hours worked and your gross platform earnings before any deductions for self-employment expenses or taxes. I'll say it again. You cannot deduct your gas, your mileage, or your random business expenses before reporting your revenue to the state. Always, always report the gross amount.
Okay, we've made it to Section 5, Seamless Reporting and FAQs, staying compliant and avoiding penalties. Let's go ahead and answer some of the most common questions out there and talk about the very severe stakes of inaccurate reporting. Knowing these rules is honestly your best defense. So, the most common FAQ by far is, what actually counts as work? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Any hours worked and any gross wages earned during the prior week must be reported. Even if you think the earnings fall under that $50 or 25% disregard allowance we discussed earlier, you still got to report them. Oh, and this also includes any one-off payouts, things like severance or holiday bonuses. If you earned it that week, you report it. The system will do all the fancy math for you. Your only job is just to report every single hour and every single dollar.
And this brilliantly illustrates why accuracy is totally non-negotiable. There are severe, multi-layered penalties for unemployment fraud in Tennessee. Administratively, you're looking at a mandatory repayment, a 15% federal penalty, a 30 to 50% state fine, and an immediate loss of future eligibility. And criminally, it's a literal felony charge, potentially 1 to 6 years in state prison and a $3,000 court fine. Deliberately withholding facts or providing false information is simply never, ever worth it.
Just remember that the Department of Labor actively cross-checks claims against employer data, and they do investigate fraud tips. So to ensure seamless reporting on your end, I highly recommend you keep meticulous records of your job searches, your hours worked, and your gross earnings. Use spreadsheets, use mobile apps, whatever works for you. Just be proactive, double-check your math, and hey, when in doubt, just reach out and seek clarification from the state. Before we wrap up, please note, this explainer provides a general overview based on current guidelines. For personal circumstances or recent changes in law, please consult the Tennessee Department of Labor or a legal advisor for the most accurate advice. Ultimately, guys, this system is designed to help you bounce back, not to trap you. So will you let the fear of a little paperwork keep you from taking that next great gig, or will you use these rules to help fund your ultimate comeback?